Alright, hit the button. So I'm making a video. So anyway, couple of people mentioned this, whatever this guy is, Millennial Woes. Yeah. Some response video just sort of on the subject of antinatalism, or the realization that life is a little bit gnarly. It's just not the kind of, and the world is kind of messy and ugly, and just doesn't seem right to be making people, because people sort of just all over the place suck. It's like the number of shitty humans is way outnumbers the ones that are worth anything, or having any kind of the life you would live if you could live their silly, stupid, you'd be them. Thank you. The real life they're living. Eek. Anyway, and so somebody is, posts some sort of lament indicating that, gee, this doesn't seem like much of a thing to invest in. Make new ones to play the moronic role-playing games. Eesh. So anyway, and so this is his response, which sounds like, from the first 1 minute I listened to, oh, you're just depressed, or some kind of bullshit like that. Take a happy pill.
His humorless tone, but I don't know what...
Humorless tone. So he's complaining, I hate when people, I was going to say I love, but yeah, that would have been sarcasm. Just analyzing the psychology or some other aspect rather than actually analyzing the words, what somebody says. That should be what you're arguing. You shouldn't be arguing with intentions or motives or any of that other kind of crap. It should really just be the words. Pay attention to what they say and respond to it. Not this bullshit.
Whether you're serious or not, you could be very depressed, or you could be taking the piss. And I don't know which it is.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's taking the piss. Still don't know what the fuck that means. I mean, I can understand pissing on something. I can, so I can understand that being pissing on something. I don't know. It just doesn't, as a phrase, I don't get it. It's one of those British things, I guess. So he's either depressed. Those are the two categories. You're either somehow not rational because you're somehow not realizing how super swell everything really is. It's all fun, fun, fun everywhere. So everybody's having a really great time. Yeah, everybody's just fun, fun, fun. No.
Is. But basically, I'm going to tell you to be more optimistic.
Right. Now, it's just such a super argument. Be more optimistic for what reason? Why? For what? To try to find some sort of reason to play along. Put on your stupid, generic, idiotic, moronic, human through history suit. Get into your traditional slippers, traditional human stomp on everything slippers. Mass murder slippers, bigotry slippers, war slippers. I mean, go ahead, be one of the usual selfish, stupid, small-minded, idiotic humans that just go into the world and say, do you believe in this book? And if not, I'll kill you. Do that kind of, the Spaniards meeting the Mexicans kind of thing. Let's replay this scenario over and over and over again. Steal their gold, do this. I mean, what the fuck? What kind of bullshit answer is this? Oh, that's right. It's bullshit. Traditional bullshit. Because you're dependent. Because you're an addict. You're basically just saying, yeah, I got to justify everybody being an addict. Everybody's got to become an addict so I don't look like an idiot. A wasteful, squandering, selfish cunt. So if I can get everybody hooked, then nobody's going to look more responsible than me. That's all I'm seeing here. Is there something else going on? I don't think so.
Less. Well, less po-faced, less precious, less
less poor-faced and precious. Again, more culturally, if you lived in America, you can you can get away with that shit, right? But you live on a country that's, in decline. How Britain broke. You see, you're in a country that's in decline, so you can't just keep saying these things like everybody knows what the fuck that means. So somehow it's being precious or something because you pay attention to problems and see that maybe it's not going to work out. Like maybe you could look at the way the country's run and say, oh, $20 trillion in debt. That means the average kid being born owes $300,000 on its birth. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, it doesn't sound like something you go make somebody to do. I'm going to make you so you can be $300,000 in debt. Wouldn't that be fun? It's like going to heaven. Fucking idiot.
Serious about all of this because you have to have some levity just as a defense mechanism.
No, well, then you're not doing philosophy. Then you're doing cop-outery and bullshittery, and you're just making silly entertainment videos. So you take a serious subject and trivialize it. So let's say if you're at war right now. Is that what you do? You say, hey, lighten up, everybody. So what? Some bombs are dropping, some stuff's blowing up, and people are being burned to death. But, you got to have some levity and, don't pay too much attention to the reality. And certainly don't try to fix anything or make any arguments that have anything to do with doing anything with your life except being a stupid, fucking idiotic spectator. I mean, fuck, what the hell is that bullshit? Oh, I'm going to solve real problems, and I'm going to respond to real problems, global warming, economic inequality, all this kind of stuff with the glib. Let's just make jokes about it instead. That's more fun. Knock the head off my cigarette. Yeah, my house was going to burn down because of you douche.
Yeah, that has to be the attitude with which you approach these things, because otherwise they'll just crush.
Yeah, no, they won't. No, that's just all part of the lie. There's nothing crushing or defeating about the idea of recognizing, oh, this really is a really cheap carnival. All right, and all the rides are rickety and dangerous, and the cotton candy is probably made out of dioxin, and you really don't want to eat anything and you don't want to touch anything without washing your hands. But yeah, you can walk around and it's interesting and there's all kinds of noises, and so you can still have an adventure. It's just not going to be Disneyland. It's just not going to be a great adventure. It's just not going to be the place where it was done right, because you can't do this right. It's a fucking addiction game, a need and passion game. I mean, I could just point you right now to somebody linked to a video of a dingo eating a gazelle alive. I mean, the thing is still alive and it's eating its guts. You're doing something that's worth it, and that's because the damn dog's hungry, and now the gazelle is exhausted. And it's just dismal. That's life. This isn't a parade. This isn't just some kind of wankery. This is serious shit, and just glib on it. I mean, if I had the book of your future, and I could actually, and you were actually going to have one of those, oh gee, you were really unlucky, and I could show you the unluckiness, like 3 bouts with cancer. I could show them to you, cutting your testicles off, and then they bisect your liver, and then they rip out one of your lungs, and I could show you how bad it's going to be. You're not going to say, oh, maybe I'll take a pass on that. That wouldn't occur to you? It's not even a possibility? Come on, cunt.
Shit. Okay. Alright, let's go through these things. Slavery. You mentioned all these evils in human history. Slavery. Slavery is unpleasant.
Oh, fuck. I mean, Yeah, glib, 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 glib. I guess this is where the glibbing just dripped like glib, 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 glib. I will diminish other people's horror. Clearly, slavery, yes, it's maybe you could say it's not completely horrible. Maybe you could say some way of saying that something somewhere. But I mean, obviously, for some individuals, it couldn't get worse. I mean, they died on the boat coming over here in huge numbers, in terrible, disgusting conditions. Stuff I wouldn't do for a week. If that was the bargain, I have to face that to complete the rest of my silly life. I'd say, no, I'll take a pass, thank you very much. Door number 2, please. Or box number 4. But yeah, I don't want that curtain thing. I'm not doing that. That's silly. Because I know I'm just a fucktarded addict role-playing. And the movie just isn't going to be good enough for that cover charge. So maybe you think you're doing something so spectacular that it justifies the suffering of all the slaves who just died on the boat over here. So just those slaves alone, the ones who died in those stinking, overcrowded, disgusting boats, those slaves alone, you think you're worth it. Go ahead, torture some more of them because I'll be worth it. That's all you're saying. There's no other way to interpret it. Go ahead, kill a bunch of young men in World War II, a bunch of 18-year-olds, virgins. Go ahead. Put bullets in their heads, blow their brains all over the shitty place, shoot them in the guts and have them die 3 weeks later. Go ahead, I'm worth it. No, you're not. Somebody just, with a little bit of humility, acknowledges, wow, when you really calculate all this bad stuff, I'm not doing anything good enough for that. Me, the lucky one, who doesn't get the bullet in the head, I'm just not going to do something spectacular enough to justify the guy who was the loser. The winning pot isn't going to be worth all the money we wasted on the antes.
But it's not the end of the world.
Says you. It's the end of reason, the end of logic, the end of applying any kind of intellectual honesty to our judgment about what the right thing to do is. This glib bullshit of I'll just erase all the harms and pretend I'm worth it because everybody else said they're worth it. And because human beings have always said they're worth it, we must be worth it. But you won't demonstrate it with any kind of like action that actually demonstrates you're worth it. You can't even make videos without, like, you know, in a robe. You know. Try a little harder.
You know, it's not the worst, the very, very worst thing that could happen to a person.
Oh my God. Obviously, for the ones who got the worst of it, it was pretty much as bad as it can get. It can't get any worse. It's really bad. So that's just such a pile of crap. Whipped to death, beaten to death, starved to death, diseased to death, malnutrition to death. I mean, it's pretty worst, fucker. But glib away, because that's all you have. These little glibby cliches. Fuckhead. Pile of suck. Okay, so he has this little thing. Should I produce and reproduce, or is despair? So these are the two choices. The only honest response to our existence. Despair is an emotion. You're not required to have an emotion over this kind of crap. What you're required to do is have a rational response. And if you can't really provide that, you know, then you're stuck. But yes, despair isn't the only other choice. You can concede that Yes, I don't need to reproduce. That's not a desperate need. As you just pointed out, it's not a fate worse than death, not having little babies to manipulate. There's other things to do. There's other projects that need your attention in the world. I'm sure you can find something interesting to do. There's got to be hundreds of thousands of now movies on, films. You could just spend the rest of your life watching those. What do you need a baby for? What are you going to do with a baby? What man wants one anyway? I don't even understand. I don't even get you people. I can get wanting pussy. I just don't get, oh yeah, I want to talk baby talk for 5 years, and then I want to lie through my teeth with every intelligent question the kid asks me. I'm just going to give him glib, fake, phony lie for answers. So, that's what you want to do with your life? Lie to kids? First talk baby talk, and then lie? I'd say you're pretty fucking perverted, buddy. Yeah, maybe I'm depressed, but you're a fucking prevert.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying it's not a cause to despise humanity or to...
Right, so the price paid for life isn't a reason to say it's too expensive. So the fact that it has a way too high a price tag shouldn't have anything to do with the decision to buy it or not. You should just buy it. It doesn't matter how expensive it is. Fuck expensive. Fuck the idea of weighing, doing benefit to cost analysis. That's for losers and idiots. When we know it's exactly the other way around, right? It's the idiots who can't do cost to benefit analysis. That's why they have babies on garbage piles. Actual garbage dumps. Jeez. I do love real cigarettes. God. See? A desperate addiction. It just won't go away. And so I'll concede, you're desperately addicted to some ideas and notions. Fine. Play with them in the right environment. Don't play with them as a philosophy. I don't smoke philosophy.
Write them off. It's really not. And also, you've also got to think about different...
Well, he says so. So, hey, there. Hey, we're done with the video. He has declared it's not a good enough reason. The bad stuff isn't a good enough reason not to think life is just perfectly super. Great idea. Make more of it. Make some more stupid, ignorant, smelly, fat people to have dysfunctional lives and, have to take pills to, get their little willies up and do all this other bullshit they have to do to just meagerly trod through their lives. I mean, just cheat on their taxes, cheat on their wife, cheat wherever they can. All for the glory of the glorification of stupid fuckers, ignorant cliches, moronic tradition. Way to go, intellectual type. Yeah, fuck you. Idiocracy type.
Types of slavery. And again, I'm not defending it.
Yes, you are. Of course you are. You're whitewashing it. You're glibbing on it. You're pretending, oh, it's not like it's a fate worse than death. It's a ticket you wouldn't want to draw, buddy. It's a straw you wouldn't want shoved in your pocket. So what are you doing this bullshit for? Okay, you're a man, so you wouldn't mind if I said the rule is for every good life you get 10 lives as a slave. And you're a man, so you say, yeah, go ahead. Pile it on me. Fuck you.
I'm saying it's a spectrum here. You can go from what the Arabs did to what people in America did.
And that was an answer how again? Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't. And that's just one of the complaints, no doubt, that were on the list of complaints about the fact that it doesn't seem like this human project has a lot of good points. It just doesn't, there just aren't too many of them. Even the heroes are always, you scratch them a little bit and you find out they're assholes, like Gandhi and shit. Didn't even educate his own kids. Fucking retard.
Which was feeding and clothing them, giving them medicine, all the rest. Is that...
I just can't believe it. So I'm not justifying slavery, and now he's talking about how the slaves were well cared for, and how they get the best medical care.
Really the worst life that someone could have.
Well, like I said, for the ones who got the worst of it, it's just about as bad as it can get, buddy. So, rape and death, you know, and brutal, horrible ways. Can't get much worse.
Surely not.
Surely not. Too accurate are you. Yes, no. Just couldn't give a shit about the truth, could you?
And again, I'm not defending it, I'm just...
Yes you are. So you say that 3 times, but that's what you just did. You just basically said, hey, it's not so bad. You get your free health care plan, and, you know, they have a great retirement facility for the slaves. You know, as soon as you break your arm or something, or you get a little arthritis, you get old, they had a great pension system. You know, basically called, you know, cut them into little pieces and, you know, feed them to the cows.
You shouldn't see it as this excuse to write off humanity.
Well, obviously it wasn't the only excuse. It was one of a litany of all the things you could bring up about just about every single thing human beings do is tainted and dirty and smelly and stinking. And you can see that with like every initiative, every even like the Salvation Army or something. I mean, they're just proselytizing, they're just extorting people into being religious. It's all just so tainted and dirty. Ew. And you're defending it. Ew. Ew.
Rape. Well, I'm certainly not going to defend rape. But again...
Why not? You just did. You just said it's not an issue. You know, so why keep pretending you're not defending it when you are? When you're minimizing it, when you're attempting to say it's not a big deal. It's not a poison apple. It's a poison pill. You know, because you say so. Because you're a glib motherfucker and you don't have to be the victim. So, yeah, that makes it a lot easier. When you don't have to pay the price, it's a lot easier to say, hey, it's not too expensive. As long as I'm not paying for it. Yeah. Wow. That's just so fucking smart. You people are just so smart to figure that out. I don't have to pay for it, so sure it's a good deal.
It doesn't make the victim's life worthless. And it doesn't make them... You see, you're
again, obviously people have killed themselves because they were raped. Obviously sometimes rape ruins somebody's sexual identity and their capacity to ever have normal sex again, because every time they have sex, the rape re-emerges into their memory, and so it can be a tormenting horror for some people. So again, glib. Glib, 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 glib. I mean, I would like to be able to do it. I mean, I'd like to be able to take like some like a woman ate a lot of potato chips. Let's say a good 550-pounder, you know, and have her rape you in some kind of serious way, shoving shit in your anus and whatnot, and you know, with her big 50-pound naked breasties, you know, whacking you in the face and shit. And let's see what it does to your sexual identity. Let's see what it does the next time you pop in bed and you see those nipples coming at you. You fucking insensitive turd.
Saying that it makes the rapist beyond contempt, worthless, and so on. Sure, okay, let's go with that. Although I would actually question that. Because even then, I mean, a rape is a terrible thing to do, but it doesn't mean that the person who does it is whole.
So again, we've lost all focus here altogether. So now he's not even paying any attention to the victim of the rape. Now he's talking about the effect on the poor rapist, because he's going to be labeled a rapist, a selfish cunt. I mean, well, it's only a little selfish. You know, I mean, I mean, he had some immediate needs, and he obviously knew they were more important than that dopey woman's silly needs. Sheesh, women don't count. Man, you're just whoa. What are you going for? I'm going to dig a intellectual hole to China here?
Evil and nothing but evil. But let's just assume that it does.
I mean, again, this stupid thing, you know, where somebody's implying like, well, there's a variability, and then he said that, right, just a little while ago. I can't remember the word he used, but you know, there's more than one layer, or there's levels of things. And here, both in slavery and now rape, he's attempting to negate the existence of the highs, like the bad rape, you know, where the guy shits in your mouth, and and you know, the not so bad date rapey thing where he only was sort of attractive, and yes, he was clean, and blah blah blah, and he didn't have any diseases, and he used a condom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's try to pretend the bad one doesn't exist by keep talking about the ones that aren't so bad. I mean, it's just cheater.
What about the victim? They endure that, they suffer that, and then they come through it. Some of them will recover fully from it, which is
so again, let's keep talking about the non-victim victims. So let's talk about the coloreds who did okay, in the sense that yes, they were the house slaves, and then maybe even the master fell in love, and you know, they got extra stew for dinner and such, and had an extra fun life, and blah blah blah. So let's just pretend slavery didn't happen, and what really happened was, well, they were just really wife capturers or something. No, that's not what it was. You're not being fair to the ones who paid the heaviest price, and they're the ones you have to justify. The ones who get the short straws are the ones you have to say, I'm worth it. So, see, you're putting straws in pockets, and some of them aren't too short, and they're not too bad, but every now and then there's going to be one of those really, really nasty little ones, and that's the one you have to say, hey, the game is worth it. So I don't know when you're going to get to that part. I probably won't be here when you do, because yes, this is moving along rather slowly.
An incredibly valiant, heroic act. And some of them won't, and then they will suffer throughout their lives. But then they'll endure that. They'll put up with that, which in itself is admirable.
Well, again, I don't know whether you can put this on a scale of oh yeah, it was the heroic strong women who took control, because sexual identity isn't that kind of thing. It's not about what you can overcome, in the sense that once you have seen something, like I saw just 30 seconds of the video of that dog eating that gazelle alive. Well, I don't know what it was. It had horns, and that image is stuck in my head. That one's not going anywhere for a while, because it hit me. Whoa. It's like I saw the baby elephant getting eaten alive, and yeah, that hit you. That just hits you. No, game, stop, no, pause, stop this machine. No. The machine is vibrating in an unacceptable manner. The car is making a noise. There's flames flying out. That's a non-starter. It's not acceptable. That definitely is not acceptable. And that's stuck in my head. And you're saying, hey, if you're strong, you'll just find some, crazy putty or something, and you can just putty over that. No, I think that's being weak. Especially if you're doing it just for the sake of saying, spare me the burden of recognizing the fucking truth about this fucking game. And you're heroes because you figured out how to whitewash. Paint over the lens, and then the camera can't take any bad pictures. Cunt.
So why would you write them off?
Write off who? So again, I don't know where he got all, like if you watch the beginning of his video, he's reading some little blah blah blah. I didn't get this, whatever he's talking about here. I just got the idea, the mood of the statement was, the world just ain't good enough for all the bad that's in it.
So it doesn't make the victim's life worthless, or at least it doesn't have to.
So again, I'm not justifying, yet that's exactly what that statement is. It doesn't have to be reality. It doesn't have to impact your sensibilities. It doesn't have to affect your psychological well-being if you're not a sensitive person. So become an insensitive idiot like him. Become a glibite like me, and you won't mind being desecrated in some foul manner. I mean, you know, I just saying, for the sake of your edification, I mean, somebody should probably, you know, tie you up and then fuck you in the ass and then shit on your face. Literally, shit right on your face. Just so you know the fun.
So to say that rape makes humanity evil and beyond redemption, I think is just far too much.
And I think you're far too glib, far too silly to think you're doing anything to justify the pain of the worst of it. And that's what we're talking about. You're basically just saying, look, I've made this analogy, but it's like, look, you're going someplace, and there's 5 of you, let's say, and 4 of you are just, oh, we're all blah, 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 happy, happy, happy. And the other one is going to be lousy sick, horribly sick. And you're all just such selfish cunts that just say, let's do it anyway. Even though you know the cause of the other person's sickness is your fun. You're just saying, I'm worth it. And see, I would have never done that. There's no point in my life where I can think about who I was, where at any point in my life, even in my most selfish, my most insensitive, that I could ever imagine that I could look at somebody else and do that to them because I was going to have fun. No. But you can. Because you suck. You suck. You suck. You're a cruel, selfish, self-absorbed, egomaniacal, glibist, motherfucking, nihilist, fucking shithead.
I think it's far too much.
I think you're far too much. I think you're far too stupid. Far too stupid. You have decent vocabulary, you know all your little British witticisms, and yet you're too stupid to figure out that you don't sit there and drag a victim, tied to the bumper of your car when you're going off on some fun party. And that's the truth of life. You're not going to have the winners without having the hard, brutal losers. And you're just saying you're worth it. And you're not. You're not even fucking close to worth it.
Then tyranny. You mentioned tyranny. Well, I'm not a fan of that, but again, it's not nice, but again, people survive it. And
again, yeah, we survived World War II. Those survivors did. Yeah, sure, the 50 million, people didn't do it, and whatever, 35 or 40 million of them were, under the age of 22. They didn't survive it, but we did. So, yeah, it worked for us. Let's do it again. I didn't feel a thing. Yeah, it was like, what, World War II? I could do that all day long. Fuck. Fuck. God, you people are so goddamn stupid.
From it. It takes decades, generations. But it's not the end of the world.
Again, it's not the end of the world. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the value of suffering and whether you should create more of it for absolutely no accomplishment. And again, the end of the world isn't even a scary thing in a sense. If it happens in an instant, nobody could rationally explain how a horrible thing happened because there'd be no suffering whatsoever and no knowledge of the event and no lamenting of the lament. So it would be just as meaningless as me saying the non-existent Martians, because that can't possibly be a tragedy. Because there's no way to rationally create a tragedy out of the fact that the Martians don't exist. And the same would be true for us. So that when you say it's not the end of the world, why don't you be honest and say, it's not like a bunch of unnecessary suffering is happening. And then we would know how big an idiot you are, because the other person's basically saying there's this huge amount of unnecessary suffering happening, and the price tag for this thing we're doing, whatever it is, wanky, is way too high. And so instead of responding that by saying, no, I think it's the appropriate amount of suffering. I think, yes, we could even add some more suffering. Go ahead, rape a few more, kill a few more in a few more wars pointlessly and torture them. Because, yeah, I think we're way worth it. Us winners. You know, us people who don't get burned alive. Ha 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 ha. We're worth it. Trust me.
Inquisitions. That's another thing you mentioned. Sometimes inquisitions are necessary.
Oh, I mean, he just can't help himself, right? He's just going to, no matter what you say, smelly farts, and he'd defend those. I mean, he'll just defend anything. If I said AIDS virus, he'd just say, well, sometimes the viruses are very good, except when they're really bad and stuff.
Sometimes they're unjust. Sometimes they're...
Look, the word is kind of used for a certain kind of inquisition that's based on usually some sort of dogma or some sort of personal interest or some sort. So they're universally panels of inquisition are kind of intrinsically negative. It's like saying, you know, Nazi-ophiles or something. I mean, they're always going to be bad.
They're merciless. Sometimes they have no regard for the truth. Sometimes
I think they always do by definition. So again, this might just be a language thing. Maybe in Britain, you know, there's some sort of inquisition or panel of inquisition. You know, not panel of inquiry, but inquisition. That was just swell. But yeah, I don't think we have any of that in any history I've read anywhere. Inquisitions are always bad news. When the Inquisition shows up, yeah, it's like a Monty Python skit. There's not going to be any comfy cushions. No fun's going to be had.
Yes, they do. Again, it's just not enough to...
Right, so being gutted alive, having some crazy person take a knife and stick it in here and saw you open and then pull your guts out one at a time, say, oh, look, here's his liver. You know, and you're still going, not a big deal. What's a big deal? Nothing to see here. That shouldn't affect you in any kind of neurological way to recognize that that happened to many, many thousands of human beings. They had their arms and legs pulled out of the sockets by slowly turning. Burned at the stake. So you think you're doing something to justify even one of those. So if I had to burn somebody at the stake for like 10 little babies to be born, you'd say it was worth it. Yeah. As long as it's not me. Yeah, as long as you're not going to tie me to that stick. God, you are just too obvious.
Of humanity. And then brutal war. Brutal war was the last thing you mentioned.
Ah, as opposed to the fun wars. The less brutal ones. The ones where you just march into town and say, we're here. Yeah, hi. Let's not even go. I mean, just the slow, horrible deaths. I mean, all of them. There's just thousands and hundreds of thousands of dying of just total bleak, frozen parts, things. Just horrible, horrible, horrible. And you think you're worth it. Go ahead, have a few of those. No biggie. As long as it's not me.
Well, what would man do if he didn't have brutal war to give him purpose, to exhilarate?
Oh my God, did he just say that? Holy shit. Yeah, he could do a lot of things. He could like make a bread and spread butter on it and have a bread and butter sandwich and maybe some tomato. You could do I can think of a million things to do. I have all kinds of shit I do here. I can smoke a cigarette instead of having a brutal war. I can do all kinds of things. I have so many projects. I can't tell you how many. I have just so many projects. So many things, and none of them are brutal war. Oh, damn. Oh, you know. I mean, this video, okay, it was stupid, but now it's rolled into something altogether ludicrous. This is ludicrous video now. Yes. It doesn't have any connection to anything reasonable. What would mankind do without brutal war? It's defining our purpose. Is this fighting and killing and maiming and disemboweling and stuff. It's all part of the fun. How would we know that, sex is worth it if we didn't die in wars and stuff when we're virgins? Hey, wait. Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
Tolerate him, to frighten him, to switch him on.
Oh, to switch him on. So, see, these are the people that, obviously he probably has to take a Viagra and stuff, These people need war to switch them on. They can't figure out where the in-hole is or something, without war. I have to run. I can't do that whole woman's vagina thing unless I'm running from a war, and then I'll try to hide in there. But otherwise, it's just too scary. What the fuck?
There's a part of us that wants it. There's a part of it that craves it.
Oh, please. Jeez Christ. I mean, it just gets so bad, I mean, if you're in this, you've got a boat and hey, there's a piece of toilet paper just went by, and, you're getting signs that you're not in a good river. And, this is just, now we know it's, the Turdica. Not the good ship Lollipop.
Brutal war. Misguidedly or not.
Misguided or not, I don't care whether it has a purpose or doesn't have a purpose. I don't know whether it's necessary or unnecessary. Well, a little bit of psychology here and there, and the silly Hitler thing, and then you have to do all this killing, blah blah blah. I don't care. Good reason, bad reason, whatever. It's all part of the fun. Getting killed. It's fun. I mean, I personally haven't done it, but I'm sure it's part of the fun. I mean, nobody can deny it's got to be an awful lot of fun to slowly die of war wounds. I mean, come on. Why do you think they don't have, like it isn't all over the place? It's because they're keeping it a secret. It's such a good time.
It's in our nature. It keeps us alive.
No, it's a reason to stop this bug immediately. I mean, you're just giving people clear reasoning to say, God damn, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Yes, even let's get to the faster than we were going to, just because these people are insane.
And again, I'm not defending it.
Oh, fuck! Fuck, 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 fuck. How could you say that when you just defended it? It's part of our nature. It gives us purpose. Those are called defenses, idiot. Ludicrous defenses, but they're defenses, you idiot. Piss. Piss, piss, piss. I don't know, so apparently if I piss, it'll do something. He'll get it. Piss, 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 piss. Take piss, take piss, take piss. What are you, fucking retarded? I'm not defending it. I'm just presenting a defense. It's completely ludicrous and imbecilic, but yeah, basically that's what I just did. Fucking goddamn. You're pissing. That's what he's doing. He's pissing on us. This fucking cunt. And he's doing it with fucking getting donated. Please give me money so I can piss in your face with stupid and idiotic duplicity and hypocrisy. I'll say completely oxymoronic, upside-downical things right to your fucking face. It'll be just like me pissing right up your nose. Pay me to do that, please.
I'm just saying that it's not a sign that man is evil.
Oh man, war isn't a sign of, hey, we got a Houston, we got a problem. Yeah, we just killed 50 million virgins. Yeah, it's like if I point out again that to make one adult sea turtle, you have to kill 10,000 baby ones, of different sizes, teenagers and young ones, and 10,000 have to be killed before their first birthday, so to speak, or at least before their 6th birthday or something. 10,000 of them. Now that's called a piece of evidence that, well, yep, Houston, we got a problem. Not good. The dog eating the gazelle that's not dead, chewing on its innards, sticking its face in the hide and pulling out organs. Houston, we have a problem. Big problem. That's okay with you, though. Go ahead. Throw as many of those poison apples in the pie as you like, because, hey, I'm a glibite and I don't see a fucking thing. Because it's not happening to me. Yeah, nobody's eating my organs while I'm alive. I'm not paying the bill. So, yeah, let's go ahead, raise the tab. Burn holes in the couches. Who cares? I don't have to pay for it. Did I mention you're a fucking cunt?
It's a sign that he has a need. And that need might be
no intelligence. Yeah, okay. So it's a sign that he's still a dumb fucking animal. So even though he has the knowledge of knowing what brains are, and knowing that sentient mammal is, and knowing all that stuff, you're still going to behave like crocodiles. So you go to high school, you're a crocodile. You go to high school, and you still just walk out the door and go, snap, 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 snap. I don't know how to do anything else. Snap, 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 snap. Fuck.
Brutal, it might be bloody, violent, awful. But again, it's just a process, it's just a natural.
It's just a natural. It's just a natural. So there we go. That's like the ultimate, what do you call that? Fallacy. The fallacy. Nature knows what it's doing. It created tornadoes and hurricanes and malaria and cholera and smallpox, and it knows what it's doing. Aren't mosquitoes just proof of that? Isn't that the most brilliant thing ever? Blood-sucking infectatoid? Yeah, isn't that great?
Process. It's a reaction to a situation. Maybe just the situation of being alive, of having energy.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. So this is just, baby talk. Baby talk. No point in having a brain if that's all you're going to do with it. Yeah, fuck you. Brain waster. Brain waster, brain waster, brain waster, brain waster. Fuck you.
Of having needs and wants, ambitions. Having a need to fulfill himself.
Right, but no need to do so with anything called economic reason or, value proportion. Just take. Take. Candy? Baby? No. Candy. Fuck the baby. Fuck you.
Anything. It could be anything. And then, of course, brutal war could be just. It could be righteous.
Oh, please. Brutal war. I mean, the very word brutal, you really can't, there would be no point in being brutal. The point would be to be just sufficiently aggressive to win.
So, again, it's just not enough to...
Oh, yeah, right. It's not good enough reason. Go ahead. I can tell you, because I'm godlike, that you're certainly worth it. You're worth killing all those young lads because they were going nowhere. They were stupid humans, by the way. Useless sacks of shit. They just would have grown up to, molest and rape and pillage and steal. They were all liars. They're all born liars, these humans. That would be a more rational justification. If you pointed out how useless the scumbags who died in the war would have been if they lived, that would be a more rational justification for war than this crap.
Not the end of the world, and it's not...
It's not the end of the world. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether it's insufficiently efficient. Whether these are reasons to say, hey, that's not a good deal. That's too expensive. Okay, that's a poison pill. That's a non-starter. That's the question, shithead. That's not acceptable by anyone with a thinking mind. Only a malicious, sadistic, glibest cunt could find excuses for saying, yeah, I'm worth it.
An excuse to write off humanity.
Really. Writing off any biological organism, by the way. I mean, the argument holds for all of it. There's nothing... the function of this mechanism is foul. It's crocodile all the way down, motherfucker. And you gotta be one sick fucker to create, crocodile all the way down.
Now, you talk about all these hardships and say, it makes life terrible. Okay. Think...
Insufficiently efficient. It makes it insufficiently efficient. It's running a deficit. It's not good enough. It's a sinking boat, not a floating boat. That kind of thing.
And this is such a cliche, I'm sorry to have to say it, but it's true.
Oh, puke. Here comes some more crap. Oh, God. Alright, be strong, Gary. Be strong. Zinc. Maybe I'll take one of my zinc pills.
True. Think of what our ancestors had to put up with.
Oh, right. And all of them did it for the love of God. Or whatever. Look, whatever. Again, these arguments from what did the lunatics in the past do? Or why don't I go find the craziest tribe in Africa? One that, hangs upside down and, drills holes in their kids' heads and does all kinds of wacky shit. And say, well, look at them. They're getting by.
Life's hardships that you and I cannot even conceive of.
Yeah, we can. I can. You're the one who apparently can't. Or you're not man enough to say, go ahead. Bring it on. Inject me with, dick cancer. I can take it.
Seriously. And yet they did it. They went ahead, they fought.
They didn't do it. They died. Like everybody else. And they usually did it, unfortunately without their boots on. Lots of tragedy and sadness. Lots of crappy stories. So what are you arguing from? The argument from the past is full of crappy, horrible stories. They all lost. None of them survived. No survivors. There was a plane crash and there were no survivors. Look, isn't that a great ending? I don't know. Isn't that a great story? Look at that. They all died horribly. Live for them.
Pushed ahead. They persevered. They managed it. At least
they didn't do any of that shit. They suffered and then they died. And so someone did it with some kind of wacky delusion like you in their head. They did it as sadistic people owning slaves or beating their wife or raping their children. They did it in all kinds of brutal and horrible ways. So again, more minimize the real cost, pretend it doesn't exist, because you don't have to pay it. Cunt.
Some of them did. And the others died trying. And most importantly, they still...
Yeah, they died not having anesthesia, having cancer removed and shit. Great. Wow. Let's do that some more. The good old days.
Even knowing how hard their lives were and how hard their children's lives would be, they still brought children into the world.
Because they were stupid. Not for any other reason. And that's the truth now. The only people having children are fucking glib, stupid, selfish idiots. Only an idiot has a kid. An idiot does that. Not anybody with a brain that works.
Children who are bound to have far harder lives than your children are bound to have.
Well, again, say it's you. So again, harder lives in what way? We're more likely to be disabled. We're more likely to end up crippled. We're more likely to end up in nursing homes. We're more likely to die slowly over a protracted number of many years. And we are, in fact, more likely to spend a higher percentage of our lives in horrid misery with tubes sticking in us and all kinds of shit than they ever did in the past. Because all the bad that happened to them, they didn't survive it. They didn't endure it. They were killed by it. And we don't have that luxury anymore of dying once. We have to die of many diseases before we actually die.
Even if we do end up with a civil war all over Europe. And because they brought children into the world, our ancestors, because they did that, you and I are here now.
Yes, which means absolutely nothing. As addicts, we're here now as crocodiles attempting to justify crocodilia. But if you have a real honest brain, you don't waste time doing that. You don't waste time talking about, well, I'm a heroin addict and it's working for me. That's a retarded argument. It's retarded. Surviving is not working in the first place. And rationally we know it's not doing anything good. It's just not. It's just a stupid, crippling addiction.
If they had had your attitude, you wouldn't be here today. typing a message.
Right, and how is that relevant? I'm sure her argument would be, yeah, and I wouldn't be in some woe place. Okay, I wouldn't be woe is meing somewhere with a bunch of non-existent Martians going, oh shit, I don't exist. They didn't let me exist. Wouldn't be doing that, would I? So exactly how would I, how exactly does a rational brain come up with how I would somehow be harmed, tortured, some kind of baddie would happen to me? Beyond my delusional notion that somehow my consciousness is making the world spin. That's a delusional notion. It has nothing to do with being rational. Fuckhead.
A question for someone hundreds or even thousands of miles away to answer for you. If they hadn't done what they did, if they had given into the despair that you're apparently giving into.
Right, and we could just calculate all the things that didn't happen, right? So then their grandmother wouldn't have had surgery, breast cancer surgery without anesthesia, and then this other stuff, and then the kid wouldn't have got killed when the horse hit him in the head, and he was a retard for a year, and then finally died of an infection. And we could analyze all of that ancestry. We could look at that tree, and we could pick out all the fucking horrible losers, and all of those horrible losers would never happened. And that would be a damn good thing. And all the animals they killed wouldn't have been killed, and all the other what they took from the biosphere, so to speak, and in imposing chaos and disruptions, that create more suffering wouldn't have happened. The suffering index would have gone down, which is a good thing. Fuckhead. Alright, so anyway, we're over an hour, so the camera's going to run out anyway. So, I don't know if I'll finish this, but whatever, who cares? People suck. Suck.